Tesla retail analyst Cern Basher has been following Tesla closely and is revered for his epic spreadsheets forecasting all of Tesla's businesses. But at Tesla's shareholder meeting, Elon Musk made a number of new forecasts that solidified projections that many thought were crazy. He gave more detailed automotive production run rates, plans for humanoid bots, the new chip fab he is calling the TeraFab, AI chips, rollout of autonomy, and more. Cern Basher is a chartered financial analyst running his own investment advisory firm called BrilliantAdvice, providing wealth management services. Welcome, Cern. This is it.
It's good to be here.
We are together.
Yeah.
Finally, last night we were at, there was a party the night before, and then there was the whole day epic. Before we get down talking about all the changes that has happened that you jotted down and you thought was great, and we're going to ask you, how has your forecast changed and in what ways? Tell me what you thought about in general, the epic shareholder meeting.
Well, this was my first shareholder meeting in person, so it was, it was great to see the videos in the past, but this time to be there and actually be a part of it was really special for me.
You met me. No, we've seen each other before.
We have.
Just kidding.
But it's always good to see you in person, Herbert.
Okay, well, let's get started. So let's break it down by segment. And what did you hear was changed, and how does that change your forecast? So I think he said something new about automotive.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I picked up on was he's talking about the run rate for automotive production, and he's suggesting that by the end of 2026, so the end of next year, they'll be at a run rate of about 2.7 million vehicles. Let's say they finish this year at 1.8 million, right? So if you just average 1.8 and 2.7, you might get to a production of about 2.25 million vehicles next year. In my model, I had about 2 million for next year. So it's about 250,000 additional vehicles than I'd modeled.
Okay, that's significant. Okay. Are you guessing it's Cybercab? Because he did also say Cybercab is now launching in April, very specific month.
Yeah, no, I think the extra probably would be Cybercab.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And then he said the run rate in 2027 would be 4 million.
Wait. Before you move on, 250,000 vehicles. There's no way Cybercab's going to be 250,000 in the first year.
Well,
April.
Possibly, but the question is how quickly can they manufacture Cybercabs? Now, It's not going to be the one every 10 seconds yet, right? But if you look at the manufacturing process of Cybercab, it's greatly simplified over Model Y and certainly Cybertruck.
Yeah, but I think you also said something many episodes ago, which is they could actually produce more Model Ys and not sell it.
Yes.
That makes more sense to me, but there's no way. I just cannot see Cybercab 250,000. I think from April to December, I would guess 50,000 if we're lucky.
Yeah, I would probably go with 100 if I was to guess a number.
Okay.
So maybe then the extra 125, 150 would be Model Ys.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me.
That makes sense. Okay,
right? So and hopefully a few Cybertrucks in there.
That's a fantastic catch, okay? So the automotive is higher than you were forecasting, and I think most people would. So if we hit 2.7 million next year, that people were freaking out, right?
Yeah, well, that's a run rate. So it's going to be, by my calculations, roughly 2.25 million.
Okay, there you go. Thanks.
Somewhere in that range, okay? And then for 2027, if the run rate's 4 million, we're looking at production of maybe about 3.35 million. And in my model, I had 3 million. So it's about 350,000 additional vehicles than I had modeled. And in that case, it's probably all Cybercabs would be the extra.
Yeah. The one thing he did say about autonomous, like we'll move on from autonomous vehicles to robotaxi, right? And he said, he finally addressed the issue that we're all debating. Will the Cybercabs have steering wheels or not? And the question is that if regulation holds back production, so at this production rate, would there be regulation in order to allow them to use those? Or if not, and you might need to put steering wheels, pedals, and sell it to consumers until you get regulation. But Elon said, no, we believe that regulation is going to be basically stair-step along with production. So does that make sense to you, those numbers?
Well, that gives me extra confidence because the fact that he doesn't see regulation as being one of the hurdles, and I think most of us have always felt that regulation is the hurdle.
Yeah.
And in his mind, it seems like not really. It's kind of their ability to produce the vehicles is the major hurdle, which I think is very encouraging, right?
Okay.
And then again, 2028, he suggested a run rate of around 5 million. And that would imply, based on my calculations, of vehicle production of about 4.5 million in 2028. I have about 5 million in my model. So in that year, it's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
but
little bit.
right.
Like pretty odd.
Well, it's pretty close.
You're very close.
Yeah.
Dude.
I find all that very encouraging in terms of vehicle production.
Right. And so you and I just the last episode we did last weekend, we actually went through all these numbers, these projections. So this is great. It's validated your numbers. And again, the funny thing is so many of the viewers would kind of say, no, this is too high. And you're like, well, this is actually what is actually going to happen.
Well, and the crazy thing, and this is kind of mind blowing for me, now when we take the vehicle production numbers and we see what it means for robotaxi, my numbers were ridiculously low.
Okay, why don't you?
Because unless all these vehicles are being sold to individual buyers, then they have to go into robotaxi. And obviously, Elon is very excited about ramping up the robotaxi fleet. So just to review, I have 1,000 vehicles in 2026 in my model.
Right.
A very low number.
Yeah.
Right. Where are all these extra vehicles going to go if it's not robotaxi?
So how many vehicles are you estimating? We just did it, just now, right? I'm just forgetting the numbers exactly.
Well, it might be 250,000 or more.
But you said some of that was run rate, or is that actually?
Actual.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And then in 2027, I have a robotaxi fleet size of only 100,000 vehicles.
Yeah.
It has to be way more than that because the additional production is in 2027 extra 1.1 million over the previous year. Where are those 1.1 million vehicles going to go? If not robotaxi. And then in 2028, I had a robotaxi fleet of 1 million vehicles. And in that year, there's a delta of production of 1.15 million. So right there, just in that 1 year, you're adding a million on top of the other 2 years of production. So we could be at a robotaxi fleet by then of 3 million.
In 2020.
In 2028. And in my model, I have 1 million.
Okay, I am not ready to accept this numbers. But
yeah, I'm not either, but it's encouraging in that I think we've been extremely conservative in our modeling and we still get crazy numbers. With my 1 million robotaxis in 2028, I have a valuation on the robotaxi of about 2.8 trillion at 1 million vehicles. And what we might be looking at is something that's 3 times higher than that, potentially. Again, we don't know the regulatory environment, but I was very encouraged by Elon's really sort of lack of concern about that. And I think he makes a good point. He says, if we have the data to show that it is safer, then it's almost criminal for politicians to stop this, right? And regulators to stop it. We can prove to them that we're saving lives, right? So why would you not let a technology save lives?
Oh, okay, but tell me the numbers again. Just next year, how many robo taxis, whether it's Model Ys or Cybercabs, how many are you thinking next year? End of next year.
Well, I need to give this a little bit deeper thought, but the change in production is about 500,000 from 25 to 26, about 500,000 new vehicles. So the question is, what percentage of those are going into the robotaxi fleet versus being sold to customers?
Let's say half. I just want to play
okay, so 250,000. Okay.
How many cities?
And
how many per city?
Well, that's a good question. I think that initially, ideally, you want to be in as many cities as possible. Because that would impact Uber, and you can undercut Uber. You don't have to charge $1 per mile. You could charge $2.50 a mile and still destroy Uber. So the more cities, the better. That would put more pain into Uber more quickly. Not that that's Tesla's goal, but just from an economic standpoint, you extract more value in the short term by doing that. As we've talked about, if you don't get regulatory approval in lots of cities and lots of states, you could try to dominate certain markets. In that case, your revenue per mile would be a lot lower on more vehicles. So that would still be very successful, but you wouldn't make as much in the near term. My sense is that Elon would prefer to be in as many cities as possible with thousands of vehicles in each city.
Okay, so if I think about 100 cities at 250,000, you're talking 25,000. Am I doing my math right? 25,000 per city.
100 cities, 250,000 vehicles.
2,000?
It's only 25,000.
Okay, 2,500.
Sorry, that's 25.
Okay.
2,500 per city. Yeah.
So maybe that's it. It can be done.
Sure.
100 cities, 2,500 per city. Like we're talking like Houston and San Antonio and, like 20 cities in Texas, right?
Now, there is the issue of, you might need an operations center in each city. So the question is, how quickly do they want to scale that out? There's probably some sweet spot in there between having lots of cities and maximizing near-term revenue versus the effort to build out all these, operation centers.
Well, Cern, first of all, thank you. I mean, we were all at the shareholder meeting, but I bet you're the only one that caught all these details. That is very interesting. So higher number of volume of automotives and how therefore impacting robotaxi. What's the other things?
Well, so just real quick, let's talk about 27 and 28 for Robotaxi, right? So we talked about 250,000 in 2026, half of the delta of production of 500,000.
Yeah.
In 2027, we've increased production of 1.1 million.
Yes.
So again, where are those vehicles going to go? Who's buying them? Is it Robotaxi? Is it individuals?
Yes.
I don't think it's a 50-50 split at that point. I think it's mostly Robotaxi.
Yes.
All right, so we have an extra, let's say, 1 million vehicles or 750,000 going into the Robotaxi fleet.
So wait, that's 2027.
2027.
So next, we're already the end of 2025. Cybercab's going to start production in April. For me to accept that they're going to make 1 million Cybercabs the next year, I know that Cybercab is designed to be, mass produced and all that, but it just seems too much.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting they're all Cybercabs. The delta in production could be a combination of Model Y and Cybercab.
Okay, that's true.
And then again, in 2028, based on the numbers Elon mentioned, it's a delta of about 1.15 million. So again, another 750 million Cybercabs, Model Ys that could go into the Robotaxi fleet. So right there, we've got a Robotaxi fleet of about 2.25 million by the end of 2028.
Right. And then, so how does that impact market cap?
Well, it's absolutely massive, right? If the Robotaxi fleet was 1 million vehicles, I have market cap at about 3 trillion.
So
Okay,
the
so
company would be doubled.
if we double that, we're close to 6 trillion. If we triple it, we're close to 9 trillion just on Robotaxi.
All right.
Okay. So, there's a wide range there, but that's the scale of this and how quickly it scales is going to determine that. It's pretty important. Over the long term, Elon's talking about hundreds of millions of vehicles. And right now we're just talking about 1 million or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right? So we're just getting started here. Right.
I want to make a comment that you did the factory tour, right?
Yes.
And so I interviewed Omar's blog. I interviewed Brian White of Future Aza yesterday, and they had done the factory tour. And one of the things that they showed was a Cybercab, right? They showed it. It's actually in production, but they didn't show the production line, but they showed how the Cybercab's going to be
conceptually how the pieces come together. Yeah.
And the both of them came out of that yesterday saying that, that this is number one, they've already been working on. And so then Elon then confirmed that Cybercab will be produced starting in April, which is like 4 months from now. But once they do this, it's going to be like, it's like Legos, very, very quick. And so
this was my first test of factory tour, okay? And you walk in there and first of all, it's a quiet environment, relatively quiet. I've been to other manufacturing plants, like a GM facility, and it was super noisy, horrible place to be. This is very quiet, it's very clean. It was beautiful in many ways. But the first thing I noticed was you have the Model Y, you have the body of the car being transported around, and the cars were above us, moving around. They were next to us on all sides. They're moving this vehicle through the factory, right? Think of the space that it takes to do that. With the unbox process, you put the 4 parts of the car together in different parts and bring them all together. The space savings is tremendous. That's going to be amazing to see. It really, truly will be a revolutionary change in production of automobiles. I don't think most people appreciate this, but once the cars start coming off the line every 10 seconds, that's going to be insane to see.
Do you remember what he said about that? It's like 5 seconds or 10 seconds once we get there. What is the actual run rate at that point?
Yeah, he was saying that if you get down to 10-second cycle time, you're producing 2 to 3 million a year, and if you can get down to around 5 seconds, you're looking at 5 million vehicles on a line per year.
Okay, so based on what you just heard here, when do you think that they need to get it to 10 seconds per line?
That's a good question. I don't know when that will happen. The increase in production that he's talking about looks like it happens over 3 years if it's all Cybercabs. So maybe that's the time frame.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess I just wanted to walk that through because there is a logical explanation that maybe these numbers are not that crazy if they really do, ramp up the Cybercab faster than we ever thought.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a little too much still to think that 1 million following year. I just no. Right.
No, being conservative just tells us no, it seems crazy. But the problem is we're going to a new production system.
But that's why you have to say no.
Yeah.
Because it's a new production system, a new vehicle,
yeah,
and new supplies, everything's new. Jeff Lutz explains that all the time. When that happens, it's going to be very slow, just like the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And then it goes up, and then maybe with this one, it'll go like that. But
yeah, the way I look at it now is my model is almost kind of a worst case scenario over the next 5 years.
Okay.
Not a best case scenario, but a worst case scenario.
Right, so you've explained new information about automotive production, new information about robotaxi. What else you got?
Well, the other thing I think that really hit home and that we should talk about, well, I think, first of all, let's go to FSD. This notion, I mean, Elon mentioned this, and I think he's dead right, and we've talked about this before. He said that we almost feel comfortable allowing people to text and drive. And he said, which is kind of the killer app. And he says it's already what people want to do.
Yes.
If you are driving your car anywhere and you look at the people around you, you often see them on their phones.
Yeah.
Right? People are telling us that's what they want to do. Tesla has the technology to allow that to happen. So he said that potentially by the end of this year,
2 months.
right, 2 months from now, that they'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
So think about what that means. You can now get a car that's the safest vehicle in the world, and you can be a distracted driver, and that's okay. Everybody's going to want that vehicle. The demand for Tesla vehicles potentially will go through the roof next year. Because who wouldn't want a car where they can text and drive? There's no other vehicle on the market that would allow you to do that. FSD sales go through the roof. Vehicle sales go through the roof, which is also nice for a hedge against robotaxi. If we think that there's some regulatory issues with robotaxi that, again, Elon's not that worried about, you've got now demand coming from people for the cars and FSD. They don't have to all go into the robotaxi network.
Well, there are also regulatory concerns about allowing you to text while you're driving. So I don't think you can assume that everybody's going to be able to be allowed to do that. Like, unless you just pretend like they can't market it and you just do it. But you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you can't do it because it's illegal. It's illegal.
Well, I think that could change very quickly. I think Tesla will have the data to show regulators that it's safe, that people don't need to monitor.
Nothing changes quickly. But okay. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a theoretical thing. I just can't assume that that's going to happen again next year.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Elon is being overconfident about that, and I guess we should factor that in. Again, I'm not rushing to change my model and assume a massive increase in vehicle sales and FSD sales.
Yeah.
But that, to me, is a source of upside surprise for next year.
Yeah.
And potentially in a major way.
Yeah, I remember on our show last week, you said that you didn't actually add in FSD sales. It's actually just
That's right.
You didn't bother because you don't know where it's vehicle, or if it's robotaxi, and then but yeah, so it's like not in your model, but it could if regulation happens sooner than anybody thought. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's incredible. Let's move on to the AI5 chip. One statement I thought that was very impactful. He said it's about a third of the power of an NVIDIA Blackwell. Okay, so a third of the power demand for roughly the same performance, but at less than 10% of the cost of an NVIDIA chip. That's absolutely huge.
Is that because NVIDIA charges 70% margin?
Well, that's part of it, but even factoring that out, it's way cheaper, right? Because the chip is purpose-built for exactly what Tesla needs. NVIDIA chips are kind of one-size-fits-all kind of approach. And I think we know that with most one-size-fits-all things, it doesn't really fit anything. You're making sacrifices for that. So that's really impressive. And then, of course, the other thing I think that's really mind-blowing, and I need to think more about this, is this idea that they're going to buy as many chips as they can from TSMC and Samsung, and it's not going to be enough.
And Intel.
And potentially Intel.
And they're going to make their own.
Right? And if I was Tesla, I mean, Intel's been handed a couple of olive branches this year, one from the US government, one from NVIDIA, and the third one may now come from Tesla. If I'm Tesla and I'm thinking about a world where I'm going to produce millions of cyber taxis and billions of robots, you need chips. So you probably want to have 1, 2, 3, at least suppliers of those chips.
Yeah.
Right. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tesla makes some kind of deal with Intel and also builds their own fab one day, which is kind of mind-blowing. If Tesla goes down that route, it also tells me, I think, the confidence that Elon has in the number of chips that they need. You wouldn't sink $25 billion into a fab if the demand wasn't going to be there, right? What a horrible investment that would be if it's not going to pan out.
Well, the beautiful thing, and I asked this question to Elon, it's so brilliant that AI5 will not only be used for cars, but it can be used for robots, and it can be used for AI data centers. So that gives Tesla this ability to, we screwed up, robotaxi is not ready to roll out, cars, okay, fine, then we'll, the car sales fall, we'll use it for bots. That's right. Or the other way around, bots, the numbers are too low, fine, we'll just make more robotaxis. Or both of them suck, nothing happens. we'll just make more ADAS. Like it's like a fail safe kind of scenario. It's just brilliant, and no other company has that. No other company can say, well, I've got these three business lines that all use this, and then volume scale and prices go down and everything's cheaper.
Yeah. The other thing too, Herbert, on that is that these AI5 chips, the AI6 and so on, can be used literally in everything that needs AI. So it could be drones,
Anything.
could be megapacks as well.
Product, yeah.
Right? Absolutely everything. Because NVIDIA, Jensen Huang and NVIDIA talks about how every single computer is going to be an AI computer.
Yeah.
So any device that has any compute at all potentially could benefit from an AI5, AI6, AI7 chip.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what else?
Well, he said that Tesla's already the biggest robot maker in the world, and that's true. He also talked about distributed inference, potentially one day having 100 gigawatts of distributed inference, right? That's a massive supercomputer on wheels, right? And potentially owners of vehicles could get some compensation for that. He talks about the car being bored, sitting around doing nothing.
Because the AI 7 chips are so powerful, they don't need that power. They can just use the one, literally that whole thing about we only use 10% of our brains.
Yeah.
So you can use 90% to do other things.
And I think it was kind of funny because conceptually he's like, well, I thought about if I was trapped in a car, what would I want to do? Right.
If Elon Musk's brain was all it's done was to drive, like you and I, right? I mean, today, right? The driving, it becomes like so secondary, and that's why you are texting. Like people are like, because they're just bored. They're like, it's nothing, right? It takes them 1/10 to drive. So what would the car do?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that's all very exciting. You just get the sense that he is, just driven to bring this future into the present as quickly as possible.
Now, did you? Yeah, okay, that's great. We'll cover this in the next show, right? Where your comment was what he was saying prior to the compensation plan approved, and then what he's now saying after the compensation plan is approved. You feel like there's a change? Will you address that in the next show?
Yes, we're going to talk about Optimus.
Okay.
In that show, and we'll hold those thoughts on that because I think the Optimus news actually is probably the most
Of course,
it's the most impactful.
Of course,
that's right. I've got the Optimus shirt on today.
He's the bot bull. Yeah. Okay. You're the bot bull.
Yeah, and again, Elon's reaffirmed that is the future of Tesla. It'll be, Elon has said, and my models back him up, it's going to be at least 80% of the market value of the company one day.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Herbert.
Together. Together. This is the best. You're the best, man.
As are you. Thank you.
Cernbert. No, I don't like Cernbert.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, okay, hopefully.
Until Herbert goes on vacation.
Cernbert tried to take over the channel, said he's upgraded. Fans loved it. Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
We just have to give the fans what they want, Herbert.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.